And welcome again to the big match. And today we pay tribute to the teams and the men at the top. Our main match features West Ham striving for a place at the top of the First Division and their game yesterday against Sheffield United. We also have Crystal Palace, the pace setters in the Third Division, and their brilliant 6-goal game yesterday against Shrewsbury. And our studio guests, and it's good to welcome back Malcolm Allison, who'll be talking about the success this season of his Crystal Palace side. And sticking with men at the top, Ted McDougall. See how he scores another 2 goals for Norwich in their game against Leicester City. But first of all today, we're going to move off to West Ham in lovely autumn sunshine for their match against Sheffield United. And first we see a team at the bottom. Sheffield United led out there by Keith Eddy, the former Watford man, now with only 1 point to show for their first 7 games of the season in the First Division and propping up everybody else in that First Division table. So it really is quite a task for them today as they come down from Yorkshire to face this West Ham side led by Billy Bonds, a side that will be setting out, I've no doubt, to improve on their performance in midweek when they went to Finland and were held by an amateur side in the European Cup Winners' Cup. So it's West Ham against Sheffield United, and there are changes to be made in both sides for this game. West Ham, for example, have Keith Robson out. He was injured in training on Friday, and Billy Jennings now wears the number 9 shirt, and Clyde Best coming in as the substitute. As for Sheffield United, they've got a new fullback, number 2, Cliff Calvert. They bought him in midweek from York City. But I think one of the most appealing individual battles on this day, though, could well come in the midfield, where Sheffield United have Tony Curry, the man in possession at the moment for England, and West Ham have Trevor Brooking, the man a lot of people see as one of his strongest challengers for a place in the national side. The referee is Ron Crabb from Exeter, and in the crowd of 28,000, local MP Reg Prentice in the centre there, with the West Ham chairman, Reg Pratt, on the right. Mr. Prentice under a lot of political pressure lately, now watching others, for a change, put themselves under pressure.
So Sheffield United kick off. Attacking the goal to our left in white shirts with those smart red diagonal stripes. Black shorts and red stockings. West Ham in their claret and blue shirts, white shorts and white stockings. Sheffield United at the bottom of the First Division with only 1 point to show for their 7 games so far. And no goals scored in the last 394 minutes of First Division action. Indeed, they've scored only 3 goals all season, and 2 of those have come from the penalty spot. And so their spirits at the moment are pretty low, and their manager, Ken Purvey, was saying it's not so much that they're not scoring goals, but they're giving away silly ones. But here's Alan Woodward, capable of scoring many a good goal, as he's shown over the last few years. Now it's with McDowell for West Ham. And in the end, Bradford comes away with it. Here's Woodward now. Really attacking Lampard. And he's got quite a crack on him. A throw to Sheffield United. Top scorer in the last 2 seasons, Alan Woodward. A winger who really knows how to shoot. And here he is again. That's a good cross there. Guthrie coming in. McDowell had trouble getting that one away. Now Bradford for Sheffield United. Took a deflection, and Spate might get a clear shot at goal, and he has right across the face of that West Ham goal. And West Ham at the moment looking pretty casual, and the bite is coming from Sheffield United. That ball falling nicely for Mickey Spate. Didn't really catch it quite properly, and it's spun across the West Ham goal and behind. Corner. Brooking will take. Tommy Taylor's come up for it. Billy Bonds is on the edge of the 6-yard area. Brooking swinging it in again. Tommy Taylor there with a header. And Cahoon hardly knew what to do with it, but somehow it struck him and eventually got away. Taylor with a good, clear, free header there. And for a moment or two, Sheffield United looked to be in serious trouble. Now it's Woodward for Sheffield United. Again, taking on Lampard. Trying to get past him on the outside. And in fact, it was a good piece of defence by Lampard on the corner to Sheffield United. And corners are the speciality of Alan Woodward. The number of goals that have resulted from corners by him really amount to something over the last few years. And Guthrie got up to that one. Cahoon, or rather Flynn. And now Calvert, where the chance may be. Curry turning it on again. And McDowell got it away to Billy Jennings. Now with Brooking. Crowd wanting a bit of action after something like a quarter of an hour of quite uncoordinated football. And there's a nice little cross there by Brooking, which Taylor very nearly met to great advantage. Lovely curling cross, and Taylor almost got to it. In fact, it came off a Sheffield United defender for another corner for West Ham. Again, Billy Bonds is up. Again, Tommy Taylor's coming up, who had a free header at the last corner. Graham Paddon will take this one, and McDowell has come in for the short one, which is what he's got. Now it's with Paddon. Hit hard and straight at Spate for another corner to West Ham. Paddon will take it again. Don't think they'll get away with a short one a second time. Again, Bonds is there. Taylor's making a run as well. Bonds going hard towards the near post, but acting as a decoy, and Cahoon under a lot of pressure, and it'll come for Paddon again. McDowell playing in the early ball. Chance for one or two of them in there. Pat Holland is one of them, but straight into the arms of Jim Brown. McDowell, Field collecting. McDowell getting it back. And here's Holland. West Ham keeping up this pressure now. They've come to life. Played for McDowell. Hit left-footed that time. And again, first time to the far side. Jennings is up there. Oh, just over by Taylor. Beautiful move. The first genuine move of the whole game. And the long cross coming in. Jennings climbing beautifully. And Taylor's reactions very sharp indeed, but it was just too high. Calvert. So far for Calvert, a fairly gentle baptism in the First Division. No one's really hurled anything at him. He's had very few problems at the moment. Curry, a nice back heel there for Woodward, and hit first time. Day had to go down for that one, and if there'd been the slightest mistake, Tony Field was there for the rebound. Good diving save there by Day. Flynn's header. It is pass. Here's Curry. Lampard's interception, and now finds Pat Holland. This might open up something for West Ham. On to Trevor Brooking now. Curry. Well played by Lampard. Lampard's looked as good as anybody so far this afternoon. It's with Holland and now with Lampard. Holland. Linesman flagging for an indirect free kick. Not sure whether the referee's pointed for a corner or not. No, it's an indirect free kick for the obstruction on Pat Holland. And as soon as Brooking has found the right place for it, he'll take it. And again, Billy Bonds and Tommy Taylor have come up. But it's beyond them all. Billy Bonds very nearly got it in on the rebound. Lampard, a screaming shot. As that came out to him, Lampard with the famous left foot angled it just a little too high. Eddie for Woodward. Good piece of running there by Calvert. And a good piece of stopping by Lampard. But there's Bradford turning it in. Guthrie trying to make something of it in the air. Billy Bonds getting it away for Trevor Brooking. He let that run beautifully. And was a little lucky to get that the second time. Flynn didn't realise how close that was coming to him, and he's played it now for Holland. There's the little chip in. Billy Bonds arrived late on the scene and had a free shot at goal and put it well wide. No wonder he holds his hands about his head. Nice pass from Brooking. A well-timed cross by Holland. And Bonds arrived beautifully on time and then could do nothing about it. Guthrie. Lampard. Fairly strong old challenge there. And a free kick to Sheffield United. Locke's header. Padden to Jennings. Now Bonds. Now McDowell. Referee looking at his watch at the end of the first half. If West Ham are going to do anything, now is the time to do it. Oh, and a header by Billy Jennings hit the post. A slanting cross. A well-timed header. And directed almost perfectly, except that it bounced off that Sheffield United post and to safety. Here's Brooking. Crossed in again, and again Jennings tried to get up, and that time it looked as though he was impeded by Flynn, but in fact the free kick's given. In fact, it's not a free kick given at all. It's half-time. While you've seen the highlights of the first half, which over 45 minutes, I can only say, was pretty boring. The one flash came just before half-time when Billy Jennings, number 9, headed against the Sheffield United post. But we're left with a goalless first half, but a lot more to come on the big match this afternoon. A half-time score, West Ham 0, Sheffield United 0. Let's hope the second half's a bit better. Welcome back to Upton Park then. West Ham now attacking the goal to our left, and let's hope for better things in this second half. It's Lampard. Sheffield United had a bit of a jinx on West Ham last season. They won here by 2-1 and by 3-2 up at Bramall Lane, completing a double over West Ham. Bradford. Certainly at the moment, they don't look to be in considerable danger of losing here, although they are bottom in the table. West Ham have played one or two good breaks in the first half, without ever really showing the real form that you would expect to find from a side second in the First Division. Maybe the second half will be a different story, though. Here's Tony Field for Sheffield United. Trying to get round McDowell. McDowell stuck to him well. It's a goal kick. Which Woodward, this demon with the corner kicks. And it's noticeable that Sheffield United bring 10 men up for these. And Calvert is one of them, and it came off Kevin Locke. Chance for Woodward to turn it back in again, which he's taken. And Brooking turning it away again, and it might come again. Field almost got in there, and it was Taylor who finally got it away, but the whistle had gone. Well, again, those corner kicks from Woodward cause a few problems. Good throw there by Day, chested down by Holland for McDowell. Brooking. Holland making a good run, and Brooking very nearly found him. The feet were high there. And a free kick given to West Ham. Actually, that looks 6 of one, half dozen the other, because McDowell's feet were certainly high as well, but it was Eddie's, I think, that made contact with the West Ham number 2. Outside the box, said the referee. And a free kick to West Ham. Well, you might wonder where the ball is. The ball is in the back of the net. Billy Jennings had to go and collect it. So now Brooking, Padden and McDowell are over this ball. 3 men in the Sheffield United wall. Played for Padden. Hit well. Minimum of that lift there as Brooking played that ball short for Padden, but straight at Brown. Spate keeping it in play. Here's Tommy Taylor. Now Kevin Locke. Certainly West Ham won't want to drop a home point to keep up their challenge at the top of the First Division. Bonds to Taylor. Locke. Jennings letting it run well. Yes, obstructed by Calvert, a free kick to West Ham. Now Taylor wanting to take it quickly and Guthrie standing over it and not allowing him to. So Padden's going to take it. Indirect free kick, of course. Bonds making a run towards the near post. Padden laying it there. Oh, what a save! From Billy Jennings' header. Padden hit that a little lower and a little stronger. And the West Ham striker was right in there, Jennings, and a really magnificent save by Brown. Padden's throw, a good long one. Taylor right in there. Bonds now hopes to collect. Plays it for McDowell. Hit a tremendous drive just wide. Now Curry. Cahoon, and he's given it straight to Alan Taylor. Now to Billy Jennings, onside, played onside by Eddie, and he's hit it wide. Eddie absolutely furious, you can see, just going out of the picture there. Absolutely furious with the defence that left him stranded as Billy Jennings came in. And Jennings couldn't quite make the necessary angle. McDowell. Flynn getting up, quite legitimately playing that ball. Spate playing it back to Flynn. Holland after him. Played for Eddie. Now for Calvert. Here's Curry. Good ball there by Tony Curry now for Cliff Calvert. Going on very well, a nice little chip there. Woodward with a shot, and he somehow contrived to miss it. Look on his face shows you how furious he is with himself, but what a lovely piece of play by Cliff Calvert, the man they bought this week from York City. Having beaten his man, found a nice little chip that arrived at Woodward, and Woodward hit it down and over the bar. McDowell. On for Brooking. Hit it straight at Eddie. Brooking going on, though. And a corner given. Linesman and referee both agreeing. Sheffield United defenders not quite so sure, but the corner will be taken by Trevor Brooking. It's in there again. Billy Bonds. With Keith Eddy, the number 4 for Sheffield United, keeping a pretty close watch on him as well. So Brooking with the corner for West Ham. It was Kevin Locke who got right in there. Billy Bonds getting in there. And Spate getting it away for Sheffield United. McDowell playing it for Lampard. Bonds is all right, he's onside. Nodded in again towards Holland. Good play there by West Ham. As it curled in again, Billy Bonds got up well to nod it into the path of Pat Holland. And he couldn't quite get on the target. Tony Field up there for Sheffield United. And now Guthrie. Field is away on the right, but the pass didn't reach him. Here's Taylor. Bonds. Now Lampard. Billy Bonds again. Good cross by Bonds. Brooking trying to hit it in there again. And Taylor! Tommy Taylor puts West Ham 1-0 ahead with 18 minutes to go. Well, one or two of them were having a slice at it, and it finally fell beautifully there for Tommy Taylor. Certainly his first goal this season, and indeed over his last few years at West Ham, he very rarely has got on the scoring sheet, but now he has, and broken the deadlock in what so far has been a very disappointing game. So Taylor scores what could be an important goal for West Ham. Woodward, that took a deflection. Good powerful throw from Mervyn Day for Frank Lampard. Jennings. Locke. Nicely played ball there by Locke for McDowell. Looks as though Alan Taylor might be coming off in a moment. Yes, it's the number 7 card that's being shown there, and Clyde Best, the substitute, will be coming on. But here's Jennings for the moment, and Cahoon got that one away. And this will be the moment, I think, yes, for Alan Taylor to come off. And Clyde Best to come on. Best. Now Bradford. Best really chasing after that ball, but it's with Woodward. Oh, that took a bobble. West Ham's throw, Pat Holland with it. McDowell. Brooking. McDowell. Couldn't quite turn it in, very nearly gets lost in the crowd. Here's Billy Bonds. Now with Lampard. Bonds again. Lampard right in there again. Holland right in there again. And again, Jim Brown is at the end of it. And in fact, it won't be long before Sheffield United bring on their substitute as well. Yes, David Irving, the Sheffield United substitute, warming up. Padden trying to find Best, and if that ball goes out of play, which seems likely, it'll be the time for him to come on, I think. They're trying to catch the referee's eye, and it's Tony Curry who's going to be taken off. Well, that's a bit of a surprise. Unless Curry is injured, he's a bit surprised by it as well. It's number 10 that's going off, and Curry doesn't know it. Now he does. So the England midfield player who was in the match against Switzerland is the man who's called off. And David Irving, on loan from Everton, is the man who comes on. Well, I wonder what Lampard's going to do with that. Padden's throw. Best with the header. And Cahoon quite content to tuck it behind for another corner. Tommy Taylor's making a sprint into the area. And Brooking will curl another in-swinger. A little chip there towards the near post, in fact. It'll come to him again, with time this time to measure up the cross. A deeper one. Towards Clyde Best. In with the header. And in you go! Clyde Best is the scorer. A fairly scrappy goal, but one that counts just the same. As the corner came in, or rather it was the clearance that had come out to Brooking, and he got a chance to put it in again. Best got up and probably headed against the post, and Brown couldn't grab it, and Best was in on the rebound to make it 2-0. West Ham 2, Sheffield United 0. Clyde Best the scorer then of the second goal. just 2 minutes to go. While they were one down, they always had a chance, but I think that second one really is the killer now. Although Guthrie will hope to do something. Oh, what a collision there between Guthrie and the substitute Irving. Well, they've knocked each other out. There's one of them. And there's the other. And the play now going to the other end with Billy Jennings. And he's brought down as well. And they are both knocked out still, Irving and Guthrie. They really hit each other. Both went for the ball. I suppose both wanted to leave it in the end, and then crack. And there goes the final whistle. An undistinguished afternoon, but 2 very valuable points for West Ham as they keep their chase towards the top place in the First Division. Tommy Taylor scoring one of his rare goals that broke the deadlock of what looked to be becoming a very boring game indeed. And then just 4 minutes from the end, Clyde Best coming on as a substitute, getting one from close in, which leaves us as the teams go off the field with a final scoreline at Upton Park. West Ham 2, Sheffield United 0.
Well, you've seen the highlights, but over 90 minutes, it wasn't a particularly good game. But it's something not to play particularly well and take both points, and that's exactly what West Ham did yesterday. And after the game, I spoke to Trevor Brooking and asked him about that below-par West Ham performance.
No, Brian, I think it was probably our least impressive performance at home this season. As you say, it was a good result, 2-0, but it wasn't until late in the game that we scored the goals. Possibly we played better in the second half, but as I say, Sheffield weren't playing well themselves, and it's probably a good thing that we met somebody like that today when we probably weren't as sharp as normal ourselves.
They played 4-4-2 with an emphasis on defence.
Yes, I think when a team comes to Upton Park and does that, really, if you can get an early goal to break them down and force them to come out, I think that makes all the difference. But today, first half, we created a few chances, but never really were on song. It wasn't until really the second half that we looked a better side.
Why is that? Was it a hark back to your travels to Finland in midweek, do you think?
Possibly. I think last 2 or 3 games we've been a little bit off the boil. I think at Leicester we let 3 goals in the first 20 minutes, although we got the game back. Then Finland, when everyone expected us to win. And today, although we won, we still didn't play that well. So obviously we have to work hard in training. And we've got a hard fixture in the week at Bristol in the League Cup. So if we can get a result there, that perhaps will turn us around again.
Some of the elementary things looked a bit off today, even simple things like passing. Now, I know the pitch is a little bit unpredictable, isn't it?
Yes, the pitch was redrained during the summer, and I think it's taken a while to recover. It's a little bit bobbly. You know, we go away from home and you can play first-time balls, and I think perhaps here you've just got to give that little extra bit of touch and time. Although, as I say, we played well in the early games this season, so perhaps we can't blame it all on the pitch today.
Well, in fact, there were several things that contributed to that rather disappointing match. And one, as Trevor said, was the pitch. We've already mentioned it. West Ham set out in the summer to try and improve their drainage, and they used sand in channels right across the pitch, and I think they were caught out a little bit by the lack of rain. And now it's a surface that hardly encourages the traditional brand of West Ham football. That's a pity. But I suppose in the long term it might be better. But another factor was the refereeing of Ron Crabb. Overall, he had a good match. His control was excellent, though in truth, he was a little too fussy for my taste. But one thing I think we'd like to see all referees do is gamble a little more with the advantage law. It is a delicate law to administer, but if it's done well, it can make such a difference to a game. If only they could delay that whistle for just a fraction of a second to see what develops after it, I'm sure that would help. And we've a couple of excellent examples here where the officials were just a little too quick on the draw. When Mervyn Day takes this goal kick here, you'll see Billy Jennings, a lovely back flick header, but in fact he may well have been pushed just a little bit in the back. But watch the referee at the bottom of the picture. As a Sheffield United defender goes into Billy Jennings, the whistle was already in his mouth. Now, if he delayed that a second or two, Graham Padden could have taken advantage of that situation, which was building up nicely for West Ham. Trevor Brooking was also caught out in the second half. A nice piece of action here in slow motion and close up in a moment of Trevor Brooking getting through a couple of defenders here. But watch the linesman as well. As he's challenged unfairly there, the flag is already up. Now, if that and the whistle had been delayed just a fraction, look what would have happened. Brooking could have well have developed that into a scoring position for West Ham, and there's just a little touch of frustration there on Trevor Brooking. I think the advantage law is something that we could well take up again on this programme, and I'd be very glad to get your views on it. But now we come to our second match, and it's the continuing story of Ted McDougall. He went into yesterday's match with 12 goals to his credit in various competitions this season, and he's helped to make Norwich City a team to fear. Yesterday, Norwich were at home to Leicester City. Anglia's cameras were there. The commentator is Jerry Harrison. Norwich are in the light shirts. McDougall was soon in action.
Going towards the near post. Boyer beyond him. This is for McDougall, and down he goes again. It's a penalty. And Sims was lured right into that one. This 18-year-old thrown right in at the deep end. And McDougall pulled a trick on him there. He encouraged him to go for the ball, and he went through the man as well. Down he comes, and Mr. Nepard, his second appeal from the Norwich City players within the first 3 minutes, points straight to the spot. McDougall, the man, of course, who has scored twice already from the penalty spot this season. Is he going to be fit enough to take it? A roar from the crowd acknowledging that he is. So great pressure for Wallington here, who has saved a penalty already this season. Kevin Keegan, when he had to take it twice. But it's McDougall with 12 goals already, and only the third minute. McDougall strikes again. The fella's got a disease, a goal-scoring disease, and let's hope nobody can find a cure for it. Whitworth. Fine ball to Weller, but Butler's close to him and he can't get by him this time. He gives the ball back to him, and now he gets a free kick. Wasting good work there, Jeff Butler. And now it's Willett. Maguire goes in, does well. But it's Norwich City fighting the rearguard action here. Brian Alderson, Samuels, Worthington in space, and Powell's got to get to him. Up goes Keelan. Oh, well held. The catch of the match. Comes off Peters, going straight to Weller, and Whitworth is going by him on the right. But Weller coming on his own. Worthington over the far side. Up goes Garland. Good header and a handball. Must be a penalty. Powell put his hand up, but it was that danger man of the first half, Garland, who did the trick. The ball worked out to the right back Whitworth. A strong cross. Garland gets up well. The goalkeeper's beaten, and Powell keeps it out. It's a penalty. So the man to take the penalty now. Samuels has scored from the spot this season already, but it's Worthington to take it. And he saves it. $22,700 delighted supporters, and one player absolutely miserable in the middle there, and that's Frank Worthington, with the ideal opportunity to put his side level in the last 2 minutes, and he muffs. And we're now on the 90-minute mark, and I think it's all over for Leicester City. McDougall, Wallington, who's had only a couple of saves to make in this game after being most of it. We're into injury time now as McDougall goes forward. Wallington's coming out, and McDougall's going to get another. It's a goal. Well, when your luck's in, that's the sort of thing that happens. Poor Mark Wallington. The ball breaks forward for McDougall. Wallington looks as if he was going to get there. Indeed, McDougall looks as if he'd given up the ghost. It hits him in the stomach and breaks. And my grandmother could have got that one.
So a 2-0 win for Norwich. And to prevent hundreds of you finding the need to write in about that Leicester penalty and a possible encroachment by a Norwich player, let's just show you what a hairline decision this often is for referees. In normal speed, it looked as though Mel Machin of Norwich was well inside the area when Frank Worthington struck the ball. But now let's look at it again. And Machin, the number 2, making tracks for that penalty area, in fact is only just marginally inside. Impossible for a referee to detect, I think, as Frank Worthington hits that ball. But what about Kevin Keelan, the goalkeeper? Were his feet on the ground? I have no doubts about that. The referee's eyes have to be everywhere when penalties are being taken. Now your letters, and I must have had upwards of 100 on one subject only this week, a free kick by Queen's Park Rangers against Manchester United last Saturday. Earlier this season, we'd seen Rangers skipper Jerry Francis pull an opponent out of the wall, and last week the England skipper was at it again. Jonathan Burke, age 15, of 10 Thanet Road, Bexley in Kent. Mr. E. Edwards of 6 Raleigh Road, Newton Abbot in Devonshire. And Joe Adams of 13 Chilberton Drive, South Mercham, Redhill in Surrey, were just 3 of very many of you who spotted this. And let's have a look at it again. In fact, there is a view, which Dave Sexton was saying, that he might have been held there in the first place, Jerry Francis, by the wall, making sure that he doesn't move away. But quite clearly, Jerry Francis had his arms around, I think it's Sammy McElroy there, pulled him away, and the free kick went wide. That's the second time we've seen Jerry Francis do that this season, and our view, shared by most of the viewers, is I think that it's not a pretty sight by any means, particularly when the England captain's involved. It is a foul, of course, and Jerry, I fancy you've now been well and truly rumbled. Our last match today is that 6-goal game between Shrewsbury and Crystal Palace. And here in the studio to watch it again with us is the Crystal Palace manager, Malcolm Allison. The pictures come from Shrewsbury. ATV were there. The commentator is Hugh Johns. Palace are in white.
Again from Durban. For Loughlin. Kearney. Gregor out on the touchline, and Holder read it early on. Chance here for Swindlehurst. And he must score. 20 minutes in, and Palace go in front. Dave Swindlehurst's first league goal of the season. 1-0 Palace. The crowd of visiting supporters rise to the Eagles. That again. Phil Holder, the intelligence to cut out the intended pass for McGregor, didn't hesitate. The quick ball on for Swindlehurst. He had only the goalkeeper to beat, and he gets the cannon in off the far post. Taylor. Wall. Swindlehurst, rather. Kept giving it a chase against Kearney. Goal kick. Kemp, scorer of 6 goals this season, 4 in the league, 2 in cup ties. Having come from absolutely nothing, had 1 game at the last game of last season. He's really burst on the scene this time. They went on, aiming for Bates. Jeffries away. And it's all right for Kemp. He's onside. And there is number 2. Kemp. 2-0 Palace. 26 minutes in. And Palace punishing Shrewsbury for the second time with some slipshod work. Shrewsbury all over the place, and Durban going back to sort his players out now, demanding to know how they let Kemp get in there on a lone run. Mulhern stranded, came out to narrow the angle, and Kemp, as cool as you like, knocks in number 2. Palace certainly looking like a 3rd Division Championship side here, although it's early days in the season, only their 7th league game. But they are looking very, very sharp. Evans. Wall. Taylor. Evans. Gregory half out. Durban. Roberts. Jeffries was first. Oh, a lovely little ball from Wall for Taylor. Beautiful dummy. Now look for the cross. Oh, how did that go in? Off Kemp. Beautiful skills by Taylor then. Turned, twisted, sold the dummy, the low cross. Kemp seemed to be right on top of it. And in fact, it was Collier, I think, who put it behind for the corner, but that could easily have been goal number 3. The first corner of the game to Palace. and they're 2-0 up, and we've been playing for, what, 28 minutes. A remarkable situation. Taylor swinging it in, and there's Evans with the header. Ian Evans, the man they look for, 6 foot 2 inches, unmarked on that occasion as Taylor swings the corner in. Evans has a free head at it. Etchelwood back for Wall. Holder. Evans. And an own goal by Durban. Palace may claim that one for Ian Evans, but in fact, it's got to be against Durban. The ball might have got in the net, but as he tried to kick it away, it goes in. Oh, and here we have a complete streak. Well, it's a warm day for him. Well, if he does try to escape, it could be very painful for him. It's kept goes again. Collier. Hayward being chased by Jeffries. Looking very much as though he used his arms, and indeed it's given. The penalty given against Jeffries as Hayward was trying to get away from him. And referee Jeff Sewell didn't hesitate for a moment. Derek Jeffries in trouble as Hayward was going past him, stuck out an arm, made contact, and referee Sewell points to the spot. And Dave Collier, scorer of 3 penalties this season, got 1 against Peterborough and 2 against Swindon. Let's see what he does with this one. Sum total of his league career for Dave Collier so far, 4 games and 3 goals, all of them penalties. And Ian Evans is going into the book for arguing with referee Sewell. But now the attention focused on 17 years old Dave Collier against Hammond for a goal. 4 out of 4 for Dave Collier. His 4th goal of the season. Hit hard, solidly, right down the slot. Hammond going to his right, the ball over his head into the roof of the net. McGregor now. Duffy, the substitute. Gregory. Kearney having to turn it a long way back. And still behind that, you can see the police dragging the ruffians and louts out of the game. Jeffries against Hayward, missed it. Durban way back then for Roberts. McGregor. Defensive ball, of course. Against Evans. Turner giving it away, and the ball from Chatterton on for Taylor. Is this his first goal of the season? It is! Peter Taylor, his first goal of the season. Mulhern utterly and completely stranded. So that 1 minute after Dave Collier hits a penalty for Shrewsbury, that 3-goal gap opens up again as Peter Taylor nips in for his first goal of the season. The chap who got 15 last season. As we go into the last minute of the game, perhaps just the last chance. That's Kearney. What a fabulous save. Oh, what a tremendous save from Paul Hammond. He really did that well. The free kick curling in, Kearney unmarked. A positive, solid header. And Kearney tips it away for the corner. Now Duffy, and it breaks out for Palace. It's 3-on-2. Taylor going all the way. Has he got the speed to get past Kearney? No, he hasn't. But he went a very, very long way on that run from one box to the other. Good jump, well timed by Jeffries, but in fact, a foul called. Durban then. Collier, watched by the Welsh team manager today, Mike Smith. I think young Collier has improved his stock with the Welsh team manager. And the chance for Kearney. Well, well, well. So Palace easing off here in the last 10 seconds of the game. Kearney drags the goal back. It's now Shrewsbury 2, Palace 4. The ball curling about in the Palace box, and for once they didn't pick up their men. And Kearney, who had earlier come up to blast a good header at Hammond, that time tried it with the boot under Hammond, and the second goal for Shrewsbury.
Well, I'm sure our guest Malcolm Allison enjoyed watching that again. Malcolm, a very satisfying performance, obviously.
Yes, I thought that we played probably the best we've ever played yesterday.
Really, as good as that?
Yeah, especially the first half. I mean, they really put it together, and they played as well as almost any team I've ever had.
And that includes, what, Manchester City?
Yes. It gave me as much satisfaction yesterday as beating Manchester United 4-0, the way they played yesterday.
Really saying something. What was it particularly about their play, then?
Well, it was the way they worked for each other, the amount of alternatives they had to play. They always had 3 alternatives to play, and they were supporting each other. They were playing in groups of 4, and they really caused tremendous problems for the other team.
We've spoken in the past about Peter Taylor, what a tremendous, and apparently he's having a very good season. We've seen Phil Holder as well, and players like that, Jim Cannon and Martin Hinshelwood. But I want to talk about 2 of them now. One of them is David Kemp, who is a remarkable goal scorer. He looks to be hungry for goals. Tell us a bit about this fellow, David Kemp.
Well, David played with Slough last year, and he scored about 28 goals, I think, for them. And I saw him play for Queen's Park Rangers Reserves. He was on trial there, and he showed 1 or 2 excellent things. You know, he's a very cute player. He always wants to go forward, and he loves to score goals, and so I signed him.
Well, this is a goal he scored yesterday, Malcolm. Tell us.
There's a long ball from Derek Jeffries right through, and there's David. He always plays on the borderline of offside, very much like Jimmy Greaves. He goes to the goalkeeper. He's very, very controlled here. He just beats the keeper. He looks up, and it's rather a difficult angle. It's not as easy as it looks, this, and he knocks it right in the middle of the goals. He's so accurate around goals, you know, he's very, very accurate. He passes the ball in the back of the net.
But he's a fellow you would expect to score goals. The bonus for you this year is Ian Evans, your defender, who's come up and I think got 5 now, hasn't he?
He scored 5 goals, yeah. He tried to claim that one yesterday, but I don't think he can get
the own goal.
Yeah.
What about him? He's obviously a beautiful header of the ball.
He's a great header of the ball, and he's a very good professional, excellent professional, and he really gets great pleasure out of scoring goals. He's worked very, very hard on his heading, and he's in nearly all the set pieces. Here he is, he gets free here. He's a rather long way out here, but you see the power that he really hits the ball with. He really hits it with tremendous power, which just goes over the crossbar. There's a corner from Peter Taylor. Here again, you see Phil Holder. He hits a lovely ball across, and you see him rise behind the defender here. And really get above the defender and really punch it down. It's a great header with a lot of power. And there's Alan Durban putting through his own net. I don't know whether David Kemp's trying to claim that as well. Ian's trying to claim it, David Kemp's trying to claim it. But David said to me yesterday, he said, I would have claimed it, he said, but I heard it was going to be on television, so I want to see it first.
Yes. Well, you said earlier that this side at the moment satisfies you as much as your great side at Manchester City. You've just about got them where you want them now, and it's taken you, what, a couple of years?
Yeah. Terry Venables has done a tremendous job. He's had a great influence with them. They're all-round confidence, you know, and the way they want to work for each other. And the atmosphere in training is absolutely incredible.
Has it been a particularly painful 2 years for you?
You could say that.
You can say that,
yeah. Yeah, it's been very, very tough, actually.
In what way?
Well, you know, you wonder if you know your job. You wonder if you're good at your business. You know, you get so many setbacks that you wonder how many mistakes you can make.
You had serious doubts about you knowing the business?
Yeah, yeah. You wonder, you know, you think, are you on the right track? Maybe it's got to be different. And, you know, I've made several changes since I've been there, but I feel now that I've built a foundation and it can only grow and get stronger.
Do you think you've changed?
Yeah, it did change me, yes. It affected me. I've got no ego now.
Yes. Mind you, anybody who's been reading newspapers lately will know that your private life apparently is a little more settled. Is that going to also make you more content and maybe a better manager, Malcolm?
I think it'll make me very happy and content. It'll give me 2 things in life. You know, it'll give me somewhere where I can be very content when I go home, and start becoming a family man again.
Now, back to football for a moment. 2 home games to come, and you'll want 4 points. Brighton and Hove Albion on Tuesday night, Sheffield Wednesday next Saturday.
Yes, looking forward to these 2 games. Both quite colourful teams, and the lads are in good spirits, and we're really waiting for them.
Good to see you back on top again, Malcolm.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that's it. We'll get Malcolm to sign our big match autograph book before he leaves today, but don't forget, on the ball next Saturday lunchtime in World of Sport. The big match, of course, next Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. Let's send Malcolm on his way with another look at the Crystal Palace side of his in winning mood. For a club that's got so many things right in terms of its relationships with its supporters, it's good to see the results at last going their way as well. And there were 4 very good reasons for them to be happy yesterday.
Touchline, and Holder read it early on. Chance here for Swindlehurst, and he must score. Moving on, aiming for Bates. Jeffries away, and it's all right for Kemp. He's onside, and there is number 2, Evans, and an own goal by Durban, giving it away, and the ball from Chatterton on for Taylor. Is this his first goal of the season? It is.